Mr. Chairman, what a great opportunity we have here today to make real reform for real people. Sadly, Mr. Chairman, this bill does not do that. It is clear to me as I look over this bill that we have our work to cut out for us. The bill we have would negatively impact middle-class families and families striving to get into the middle class by taking away their personal exemptions and leaving many with higher taxes. This bill negatively impacts businesses. It helps large businesses on the backs of small businesses by ensuring that the vast majority of pass-throughs will see no benefit of tax rate reduction. That's why it's opposed by the National Federation of Independent Businesses. And this bill does nothing to address the skills gap that exists in our workforce. It is so important that we know that the future of work is around the corner, and we're doing nothing. And this bill does nothing to help that. This bill would negatively impact communities. As a former public finance attorney, I can tell you that the base broadening measures in this bill will dry up the capital and business activity in our local communities. Private activity bonds, 501c3 bonds, and municipal bond advance refundings make capital improvement projects at the municipal level possible. The new markets tax credit and the historic tax credit drive billions of dollars in private capital to economically challenged and distressed communities. These are the building blocks of economic opportunity for Main Street America, Main Street Alabama, Main Street Texas. The current bill would do away with them, and that would severely impact their ability to encourage economic development. So, Mr. Chairman, I hope my colleagues view this markup as an opportunity to improve this bill and have the bipartisan input that the American people deserve. My Republican colleagues should know that there is plenty of room to craft a bipartisan bill if the will is there. We share a sense that the current tax code is outdated and has structural deficiencies. On the individual side, our tax code is too complex. It doesn't do enough to support working families and does too much to exacerbate existing economic disparity. On the business side, the tax code doesn't do enough to make sure our workers are prepared for future jobs. Mr. Speaker, I was really excited to be on this committee. I wanted to be on this committee because I wanted a seat at the table for the constituents of Alabama that I represent, many of whom are striving to be in the middle class. Our tax code is supposed to be reflective of our values. The tax code does pick winners and losers. And, Mr. Chairman, the winners in this bill are the top 1% of the wealthiest Americans. Multinational corporations will benefit, and Wall Street fat cats. The losers in this bill are working families, the middle class, homeowners, local municipalities, and hard-working Americans who strive to achieve the American dream. These are the people that I value, and I know that you do too. Mr. Chairman, I am sure you have heard the old adage, better to have a seat at the table than to be on the menu. Well, Mr. Chairman, the people I represent are on the menu in this bill, and I cannot stand by and let it continue as long as I am on this committee. Mr. Chairman, the hardworking folks I represent deserve nothing less than to have a seat at the table and to have their voices heard on tax reform. The way this bill was drafted under cover of night without input from the Democrats means that the table was reserved for Republicans only. Mr. Chairman, I don't believe that that is what our founding fathers meant by this democracy. So, Mr. Chairman, as I am closing, I think of what Shirley Chisholm, the first African-American elected to Congress, said. If they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. Mr. Chairman, this is my folding chair, and I'm here to give a voice to the people I represent.